Hello, you guys. Welcome to the Coffee Run Live, episode 438. Ridiculous. So I am very sorry for being late. How ridiculously hilarious is that? I have been running numbers this morning. So what's really interesting is it's really important that we've got systems and checks and balances in place to make sure that you aren't missing out on all of the things that you should be coming on in. Hey Ruby, how are you? Happy Tuesday. So what's really interesting is that I track my money every day, I run my spreadsheets every day, and it became known to me this morning because a client messaged me actually about her program that there's a couple of payments that hadn't been actually processed. So a couple of things that I just thought I'd go through is things that I do in terms of tracking money and things like that, and tracking your data and whatever else. You've got to make sure, and this is a really big thing to remember because this is it's actually tripped me up in the past, where you've got to make sure that if you are deleting people out of your database or if you're merging people in your list, that you're not inadvertently canceling out any recurring payments. So one of the things that I found was that there was someone in here who had, like, you know how I don't know about you, I use different email addresses for different things. So I'll use my personal email address for stuff. I'll use my business email address. I've actually got another business email address as well that I use for other different things. And like sometimes people in your email list, particularly if they're going around and they're opting in for all these different things, they might actually use a couple of different email addresses. So they might get one thing from you for free and then they do something else and then they might buy and then they use different email addresses. But what happens is that sometimes when we merge them, so just a techie hint, sometimes when we merge them, it means that they some of the orders might go missing. Or the payments don't kind of carry over to the merged file. So just make sure, please, that you've got a way, particularly if you've got this kind of like membership stuff, like recurring income, like subscription-based stuff, that you've got a way of tracking and making sure that the payments that are supposed to come in are coming in, and that you're not kind of going like, oh shit, that 6 months that I haven't been charging this person, which has also happened, which I thought I'd learned my lesson. Apparently I had not. And then it's really hard sometimes to like go back and claw that back, depending on the person that you are. Like, if I got told that I hadn't paid a bill, I'd be like, oh shit, oh my God, I'm so sorry, please, take my money, please. And most people are like that, but some people are like, nah, done it, see you later, I just scored, a free however long. So make sure that you've got these systems in place. So one of the other things that I'll do, and I just thought it pertinent given that it is the 30th of June, so here in Australia it is the end of the financial year tonight, and I know that there are a lot of people that are really looking forward to putting this first half of this year and the end of this financial year behind us. So some of the things that I think are really important is, like, I kind of look at there being two really big, really good, important and logical reset points throughout our year. And one of them being, very obviously the start of the year, and then the other one being the middle of the year. So when we run our numbers, we can go back and have a look at what this last financial year has looked at. So some important numbers for you to know. And I know not all of you love numbers. I love numbers because numbers are, they're just facts, right? The things that are there, the ones and the zeros, they are what is there. And so the things that are really important for you to know are these types of things. So number one, what is your revenue that you've actually brought in this financial year? And really you should know that actually on a monthly basis, if not daily and weekly as well, but certainly on a monthly basis, and then on a half yearly basis, and then on an annual basis. So what's your revenue? How much does it cost you to acquire a client? So these are some, there's some hidden costs when it comes to client acquisition. So the obvious ones are, hey Kath, the obvious cost per acquisition, or the obvious things that form that number are your advertising costs. But you've also got to know, what does it cost you to run your business on a monthly basis, right? So you've got your cost per acquisition, but then if you're also looking at, say that you've had 10 new clients in this last month and you've spent $1,000 on advertising, you might think that your cost per acquisition is $100, right? $100 cost me $100 to get a client. And that's great, because you've got 10 clients, you've spent $1,000, average that out, it's $100 per person. So, but you've also got your operating costs. So you've got your systems. So most of you are using some kind of client record management system, so a CRM. And that's so that you can email people, so that you can take notes, so that you can automate your payments. When that works, it works really well. And that type of thing. So you've got to factor that in. You've got to factor all of your, like your bank fees in. Factor in your PayPal fees. You know, PayPal fees are about 2.3 or 2.8%. I can't, somewhere around there, 2 point something percent. So you've got to factor that into your costs. If you're looking at your website, domain registration, your website hosting, your insurances, you've got to know, it's annoying, right? But you've got to know essentially like what it is that it costs you to run your business each month. So what's your break even, like just to open the doors, right? And then that can also be factored into your cost per acquisition, because if you didn't have all of those things running, then you wouldn't be getting clients, right? It kind of all needs to be, it all needs to be included in all of that. So you've got to bear that in mind. The other thing that you want to be thinking about in there as well is, well, what is it like if you think about the your advertising, the cost for all of these systems, and then you can actually work out on a rough basis how much it actually costs you to acquire that person. So then you've got to have a look at what you're selling your stuff for, right? So if your cost per acquisition is $250, good morning, Robin. Oh, good evening for you. If your cost per acquisition is $250 and you're charging $97 for your programs, then you're going to be running your business at a loss, which is not fiscally responsible. It's not financially good. It's like you don't want to be paying people to work with you, which is essentially like what you're doing. So even though like I don't care about the profit and loss statement. No, I do. I don't care about the P&L. I've got people to care about that. What I'm really curious about though is if I'm putting money into systems and advertising, how much am I making off the back end? And I think this is one of the things that most people don't really talk about. They don't talk about the cost per acquisition. So something that we know for a client of mine, they know that for every $250 that they spend, that they will make at least $1,500. Okay, I've got another client that will spend $250, or maybe a bit closer to $200, and they will make about on average $3,000 per person. So it gives you what this does by knowing how much your cost per acquisition is. You will know how much you can afford to actually spend in advertising and what your return on investment actually is, because that's the thing that matters. I remember when I was running a million a year, and that was really fantastic and it was really, really awesome. But my cost per acquisition was about $1,000 from memory, and I was making $7,000 or $8,000 per average sale, right? So if my cost per acquisition is $1,000, I know that I can very easily put more money into the front end in order to scale it and get more people through. But if I didn't have that information, if I'd be, and I don't know what you guys are like, but I know for me, if I'm putting money into ads and I'm seeing this, like the balance just tick up and tick up and tick up and tick up, I'm like, oh my God, this is insane. You know, sometimes you've got to let it get to that $250 that you've spent before you'll actually make any money. When you know the numbers, you can start to make smart decisions. And it's in the smart decisions that you can then go, okay, well, I know that I can keep going, or hang on a second, you know that the sale hasn't come in. What the heck is going on? What's happened? Have market conditions changed? Has advertising changed? Has the niching changed? Has the targeting changed? Have I done have I put the languaging incorrectly in there? And this is where people get really concerned, because they might spend $50 on ads and they're like, oh, my ads aren't working. Well, if you're not sure what your cost per acquisition is or how much it costs you to acquire a lead or to acquire a client, then you're flying blind and you won't know how much how much it is that you should spend. So my message for you today is to do what I've just spent the last hour doing and crunch your numbers. It's a great time of year to do it. And actually have a look if there are things that you can go, all right, well, that is necessary, that is necessary, that is necessary. That's probably not. Oh, look at that. Like, go through your transactions through your business bank account and go, well, actually, yeah, mentoring, that's necessary. Advertising, that's necessary. I probably don't need this subscription anymore, or I possibly don't need to be doing this, or you know what, I really need to be doing this. Wow, I spent that much on stationery. You've got to know your numbers. So go through. It's a great time of year to do it. I know some of you love it. I know some of you loathe it, and it is the last possible thing that you want to look at. But if we think about money is an energy, right? Hey, Shani, good to see you. Money is an energy. Money loves attention. So if you can look at it and appreciate it and just be like, oh my gosh, I'm so grateful that all of this is coming my way. And I'm so grateful that I know that this is what I can do now, and start making empowered decisions, then where focus goes, energy flows, right? According to Tony Robbins. So if you can be really focusing on, all right, know your numbers, know what your break evens are, know what your cost per acquisition is. It's important data that you should be able to go at any given time. Oh yeah, I know my cost per acquisition at the moment is about $50. So that gives you some space, some freedom, and some certainty for those of you who are really driven by certainty and really want some guarantees and really want to know that things are going to work. This data will give you that. Spend some time doing that and watch your abundance grow. So at the same time, the thing that you've always got to have in mind is that we know that money is a flow, right? It comes in and it goes out, it comes in and it goes out. And then hopefully it's growing in like a snowball where the money out might be staying the same, but the money in is always increasing. So there you go. If you have any questions about that, let me know. Some things I need to let you know about today. So number one, we've got Contentology, my content inspiration program, running again in July. Really freaking excited about that. $97 for the whole entire month of content prompts, content motivation, inspiration, not just from me, but from the rest of the people who are in the group as well. June has gone off like a frog in a sock. I am so excited to see what happens in July. We've even got people coming back to do July because they loved it so much in June. That's happening. We start tomorrow. Funnelicious, which is all about how you can create your own internet marketing and really make it so that you've got your ads going out, everything that I've been talking about. So your cost per acquisition, you'll know that. You'll know how much to spend on advertising. You'll know all of the technology with how to build out your funnels, how to nurture your people when they come in, how to really look after your audience. This actually also helps you with the your cost per acquisition as well, because if you're paying for leads to come into your business, you don't just want to like leave them sitting there, because why would you do that? We've got to nurture them so that they're more likely to then buy from you in the future, or decide they don't like you, either way. So that is starting tomorrow. Funnelicious, the pre-work is sitting in there ready for you to go. We've got module 1 happening tomorrow, $597 for you to do it through yourself. And then there's some other options in there as well. We've got our extreme accountability program happening at 6 o'clock every morning, except Saturdays and Sundays, starting again tomorrow as well. $497. We're on at 6 a.m. and every day for the whole entire week, we're like, okay, so what is it that you're working on? What do you need help with? All right, get out there and go make that happen. And seeing the most amazing results, like people getting 3 months of work done in 30 days. It's extraordinarily fantastic. I pinch myself every time I run this with the results that people get. So it's really, really cool. That's happening tomorrow. And we've also got, if you're more of a one-on-one type person, we've got Renegade Accelerator, which is also open for applications. If you're curious to know more about that, you will need to message me. That is, it's a bit of a different thing. It's like, let's hit the ground running and just smash out the next 90 days together on a one-on-one capacity. So that is happening as well. I will put the links for all of those things in here. But one of the big things I think that across the board that has come up and about from the last 3 months. If I look at the last 3 months, yeah, I know it's COVID time and all that sort of shit, but take that out of it. The thing that's been really, really amazing to watch has been seeing people who were very, I can only talk about business. I can only do this, I can only do that. Really start to see the potential and the results pan out as they start to really step into their own, increase their visibility, increase their accountability, and really just focus on getting out there and doing the work rather than getting caught up in all of the chatter that goes on in their heads. So if you'd like to be part of that crew, let me know. I would love to welcome you in. So on that note, know your numbers, know what it takes to acquire a person, acquire a client. Know what your numbers are in terms of your break evens, because it means you're going to be able to make some really empowered decisions over this coming financial year. Have a really amazing day, everybody. I can't wait to talk to you tomorrow. But meanwhile, get out there, go help some people, have a whole ton of fun doing it. And remember, the world is ready for your brand of awesome. I'll see you tomorrow.